it's Tawney. In today's video, I am testing out the Natasha Denona Glam Palette. I have seen a lot of reviews, well, just a couple here and there. I saw somebody using it as like just a trial, just using it, and they seemed to really like it. So I was like, well, I'm gonna buy it because I really want it, and that's kind of how makeup is. Like, if you like it, you're gonna go buy it. Well, then I come to realize that the person that had done that video ended up not liking the palette. And I was like, oh my gosh, did I just waste $65? So here we are testing out to see if I wasted $65. I have my full face on except for my lipstick and my mascara. Let me go grab a mascara real quick because I don't actually have one. I should have grabbed that, but I wasn't thinking. So the mascara I'm going to use is the Maybelline the Falsies Lash Lift. The eyeshadow primer I have on my eyes is the Milani eyeshadow primer. It's the one that works best for me, I've found. I think it's the one that like really makes my eyes look nice, makes my makeup on my eyes looks nice, and it stays all day. That's one of the problems I have with eyeshadow primer, especially from the drugstore, is that it doesn't stay all day or it makes my eyeshadow crease, and that is a big problem. I'm currently wearing a full face of dewy / cream products, and I'm thinking of doing a full video, and I'm really glad that I was thinking of that, because like I feel like my makeup looks really nice and like natural and like glowy, but like good glowy, so I'm really excited. Here is the inside of the palette with the mirror. It has a nice fancy mirror. So $65. You can get it at Sephora or the Natasha Denona website, or I believe another website, I'm not totally sure. It has names on how to use the palette, which I think is really cool. So that way you know how, like, where things go, and like for beginners and things like that, which I think is really helpful, and that we don't always like think that we need until we like go to put it on and we're like, hey, I don't know where this eyeshadow should go. So that's something to think about. I really liked it because it was like a neutral palette, and I've been wanting a Natasha Denona palette for a long time. So I was like, well, why don't I just go ahead and pick one up and test it? And I was kind of like, well, if I don't like this, maybe I'll like get a different one, because I really like the gold palette. I think it was the one before this. It seems really nice, and it would be a little bit more warm toned and like more gold tones, and I feel like I could use that one too. But this one was just one I was really excited about. It reminded me of the JSC ORGY palette that people don't like, but like better, if that makes sense. Kind of like a mixture between that one and the cremated palette, which I didn't want to buy that one because I don't support JSC anymore. But I first went to a transition and just put that in my crease. I don't really notice it doing much, but it could just match my skin tone. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind. Now I'm going into blend, and I'm also using that on my transition area, but I'm blending it a little bit more, and I'm using the Morphe & Jaclyn Hill JH37 brush. I just grabbed a bunch of brushes and was like, hey, let's film. And I'm in my new filming area. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna like have this whole setup, because I right now just have my phone sitting on something, and that's not quite working. Like, it's not going to work permanently, so I'm gonna have to like adjust. And I'm not totally sure about this area of my apartment for filming, because it's right where my air conditioner is, and there's also a bar across the street, and it's a very small street. So if there's any noise, I can't really film because you'll hear all the noise, I'm assuming. I mean, I could always do some trials and stuff and just see, but there's that. But come winter, if I'm still here, then, you know. Okay, that is blending really nice. I really like the way that looks just as a transition, very blended out color. Yeah. But if I'm still here come winter, then it might not be a problem, because bar people have gone inside and there's no air conditioner. So, but right now the air conditioner's off. The deepest shade in this is Lash Line, but it says Lash Line, so the only other one is Smoke. I kind of wish there was like a warm toned deeper brown between Smoke and Lash Line to kind of like use as the outer corner. Like, when I saw this palette, I was like, this is the palette that I'm going to use all day, every day. It's going to be Natasha Denona quality. I'm going to finally have like a nice palette. Not saying that my others aren't nice, but I'll feel like I have a nice palette. But I'm a little bit leery. I'm not trying to go into this like hating on it, so don't feel that that's like what I'm doing. But I'm just like, my expectations are a little bit higher because I paid $65 for it, you know? Like if I paid 12 bucks, I wouldn't have such high expectations. I was gonna pick up the Friends and Makeup Revolution collection, the big palette, but I watched a review and someone said it was a pressed pigment palette, which means it's harder to use and you have to like have a sticky base, go into your deeper shades first, then into your lighter ones so that way the deeper ones sit down properly on your eyes. And I kind of feel like it's a little bit too much work. And for me, when I just do the same kind of looks all the time, I don't really want to get an eyeshadow palette that may or may not get used, and then that is really hard to use. Because, like, I know a lot of times people didn't like the Subculture palette from ABH because it was so hard to use. They said there was apparently a way to use it, but I don't believe that, honestly. I think it was just a bad palette and they just wouldn't own up to it. But, like, people said it was, like, hard to use and they didn't think that it was worth it to have to learn how to use the palette, if that makes sense. Like, I get it if it's, like, a fancier brand, like maybe even here with Natasha Denona, but at the same time, like, you shouldn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just too much. I'm now going to go in with my Morphe M537 brush. I'm going to take Blend, and I'm just going to buff that, I guess, or like blend it all in the outer part of my eye, just to make it a little bit more warm on the outer parts, and then the inside can be more cool tone. That's something I should have known going into this, but whenever I had seen, it just got really cold, and I'm hoping it's just the breeze outside because I'm sitting by the window. But whenever I saw pictures of this, it didn't quite seem like a cool tone palette. It seemed a little bit warmer, like a mix between warm and cool, like a neutral palette basically. So I'm a little like, I was a little concerned because right after I bought it, I saw a picture that was like, it didn't really have much editing to it, and it made the palette look like what it looks like now, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm not the craziest about this. But so far I'm really liking it. I'm not noticing like a huge difference in quality in terms of like it being the best palette I've ever used, and like I'm so glad I spent $65 and like this is totally worth the $65. Like I'm not sure how I feel about that, like not sure my thoughts on that, but I do think it is working really nice so far, so that's something. Going in with the Morphe M433, it's a little bit more of a, it kind of has like a squish, and then it's, yeah. So I'm going to go in with that, and I'm going to take Blend, I think. And I'm going to go in my lower lash line. So far I'm liking it and it's working really well. It's easy to blend, it's not hard to use. It has a little bit of kickback, more so than I'd feel comfortable with, considering it is a $65 palette, because like it makes me a little concerned that like it's gonna run out sooner than like I want it to, you know, like considering I paid so much money for it, I want it to last longer, but it's not really like that big a deal. Not sure what color I want. Do I want to do center eyelid, inner corner, outer eyelid? Oh, outer eyelid. Look at all these. They're so pretty. Oh my gosh. I don't know which one to use. I think I might go with maybe one of these two. I think I might go with this one. Which one is that one? Is it this one? Yes, that is. This is outer eyelid. It's the top second one in. And I'm just going to pat that down in the middle to outer part of my eyelid, and then I'm going to put a lighter one on the inner part. That is really pretty. Oh my gosh, I am loving the way this looks so far. I'm going to need to wipe off my fingers because I don't want to accidentally get the wrong color on my eye and then regret it. Wow, and they even come off really easily too. That's something I'm a little bit concerned about sometimes with eyeshadows, is that they just linger on your fingers or like on your eyes or whatever, to the point that like they're impossible to get off. I think this eyeshadow is working better for me than any other eyeshadow I have. And I'm not quite sure if it's because I didn't set my like eyes with like a light color type thing. Like I went in with a transition, but I didn't set my whole eye. I don't know, maybe that's why, but these are like, they're not going up into my crease at all, like in through here at all. I'm a little bit like maybe this wasn't a waste of money. Like, I'm not trying to make it a waste of money. I'm not trying to do that at all. But that's just kind of like, I'm trying to view this as, I spent $65, so this better be the best freaking palette I've ever bought in my life, because it's the most expensive palette I've ever bought. Okay, now I'm going in with inner corner. It's the middle row that says inner corner, and I'm just patting that down all the way to my inner corner here and just making it blend in with that other glitter shade. I'm really liking this, like, so much. I wish I had somewhere to go that me wearing this would, like, you know what I mean? Like, I could wear it and show it off and, like, look at me, I'm so pretty. But we do have a brow bone shade. I'm just gonna put this in the brow bone. That is really nice. I'm gonna actually take brow bone and put it in my brow bone. I think that looks so nice. I don't think I quite followed, because smoke I didn't use to smoke. I used it as my outer lid color. But I guess you could do whatever you want. I mean, these are just suggestions. And a lot of the ones that say like outer eyelid are shimmers. So, like, I don't know if you'd want to put a shimmer that far out, but I'm really digging this. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with my Morphe and Jeffree Star JS6 brush, and I'm gonna go with smoke, just the teeniest bit, and make that blend out with my upper eyelid, with my eyelid. Just make it kind of blend in a little bit, just on the outer portion. Yes, it's looking good. Okay, then I'm gonna do it to my other eye. Gotta make it, what is it, asymmetrical? Symmetrical? I don't even know, honestly. I did not pay much attention in art class. My dad was an artist, so I just kind of like a in your spare time kind of artist. Not like a, I'm super famous and my dad's Picasso kind of a, or like my dad's super famous because he's Picasso kind of a thing. I'm gonna just use every brush I have, honestly. And I want to go in with inner corner. It's the middle one in the top row. And just put that on my lower lash line, just on the inside. It's not working too well on this brush that I have. It's the AOA Studio E1112 brush. It's a little bit more like firm of a brush, so it's not showing up very well. I think I'm actually going to go in with the tip of my finger. And okay, that's not giving me the effect I want, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because why not? Just put all the glitter. Okay, and there's like hardly any fallout, and if it is, it's just from that last little bit that I did. But I am very impressed. I think this looks really nice. I wasn't trying to find fault in it. I was actually, well, kind of was, because like I was just comparing it, like, is it worth $65? Is it worth more than my drugstore palettes? Like, is it, you know, is it better to buy a more expensive palette versus a drugstore palette? I feel like quality-wise, you don't have to worry so much with a more expensive palette, but at the same time you do, because like when you're paying for more, you better get better quality, if that makes sense. My lower lash line is just like all over the place with this mascara. My hair's crazy today. I was having a decent hair day, and then I sat down to film it, and it's like, oh, never mind. Yeah, it's a little bit chunky. I've been going back and forth between this one and the NYX On the Rise mascara. Those are probably two of my like all-time favorites. I think the On the Rise gives me a little bit more of like an umph than this one does, but I do think this one works just as well, and I would definitely recommend it still. But I think the On the Rise is a little bit better for me. And I don't use false lashes, so I just rely on my mascara to like do the job. I think this actually looks really nice. I was trying to do like an up ponytail today because we were planting flowers at work today. It was part of like a let's beautify the town kind of a thing. And then I have some like loose hairs because I was in a car where the window was down, but it was like a huge window. Like it was like a convertible type car. So my hair kind of just went crazy because it does not like being in cars with all the windows and the top down. But yeah, I think this looks really nice. I think this is one of the best eye looks I've ever done. And I'm not saying this just because it's from like an expensive palette, but I honestly feel like this looks so nice. I honestly feel like $1 million right now. And I feel like I've needed this lately. And like, I kind of splurged and I wanted to splurge. I wanted to buy something nice and I wanted to like treat myself a little bit, you know, treat yourself if you're a Parks and Rec fan. But I feel like this really helped, like, it's making me feel good. So yeah, this is the Natasha Denona Glam Palette. So what it looks like on the inside after one use. Yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below if you bought this palette or if you're interested in buying this palette. I would definitely recommend it. And they also have little holes in the back for you to depan this, which I found that out from somebody else's video because I didn't know that. But it was about previous palettes though. But yeah, the palette's $65. I would recommend. And I think that's all I have today. Stay tuned for future videos. Don't forget to ring the bell somewhere down below so you get notified when I upload. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye!